Okay, welcome to today's video. First things first, I'm trying to plug a leak in this radiator. I also had a buddy re-weld some brackets on the rad fan. I'll go over that more in a couple minutes, but just thought I'd show you. I'm putting a bunch of epoxy right here and it's kind of draining in. I've always had a little bit of wetness here. I thought I might as well throw some epoxy on it and see if it does anything. Hello. So our plan today, so let's start at the beginning. Last week I went to go pick up a Gaikin grill for one of my buddies, and I got halfway to Vernon and I blew my upper rad hose. So I've always had a little bit of coolant issues. Either it like disappears out of the system, overpressurization. I don't know exactly what's going on. It's been like that for 40,000 kilometers, a couple years. I never really thought too much about it, but I've been doing some research, and apparently you need a couple different rad caps if you have a radiator with a rad cap, and then you also have the coolant overflow, or the whatever coolant expansion tank. And I found out you're supposed to, on the radiator, you're supposed to have a one-way cap so it only pushes out. And then on the expansion tank, you're supposed to have a two-way so you can pull coolant back into the system. So today I'm gonna redo all my lines and everything because I had it, like I had a T in there and I had both of them draining into one spot, but then I kept getting air in the system. Anyway, so I have my radiator. And with my radiator, my fan shroud was actually from a different vehicle. So I went to my buddy's yesterday and I got him to weld the tabs differently because this one was over there, this one was over here, and the bottom ones were off by about an inch. So it was quick and easy for him, nice TIG work. And yeah, so I'll insert a clip here.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. And then now that I got that all done, I put some foam tape on there. I did the little bit of epoxy work there. So that should be all good to go. I'm gonna put it in, show you how to properly bleed the coolant on a EJ as well. So let's get into it. This tab was over here, and then this tab was over here, and both bottom tabs were over like a inch. So got it all nice and tied together. Got foam in there to really seal it up and use the fans to their best potential. Yeah, should be good. So I actually got this pack of hoses like 2 years ago, and it's just been sitting on a shelf because I knew that the upper rad hose was not ideal. So since I'm switching out my old hoses, this one was pretty rough. Yeah, this is the one that blew. It blew like a flap open on it. It's pretty bad. So I'm putting my coolant temp sensor down here now, so I can get the temperature coming out of the radiator instead of coming out of the engine, because the stock coolant sensor is on the engine. So that should have all of the information I need for how hot the engine is getting, which it almost never gets hot. And then, yeah, that's down there. I'm gonna reroute the wiring. It is somewhere in here. I just gotta pull it back. I have a mess of wiring under there. But yeah, should be pretty easy to get everything ran and done. Oh. So my lower radiator hose is cut to add this piece to it. I think I might rotate these a little bit to get this to sit better. Just 2 wires that go straight to a gauge, not to the ECU. But yeah, get this all dialed in, and then I'll need to put the radiator in, and then I still need to trim this to size because it's going to be a little shorter. I got that one. Then this one will also need to be trimmed to size because it is also very long. Okay, so test fitting. That is quite a ways off. So I'll have to figure that out, but it shouldn't be too bad. I might have to shorten the hose coming off the thermostat housing. And then over here, this is the hose. So yeah, either way, it's going to be a little bit of a kink, but shouldn't be too bad. I think I'm going to cut off both ends of this and just use the center part and just put this as far in as possible so that I can gently curve the top edge. Looking pretty good. Yeah. Miles of room. There's only ½ inch between the engine and the fans. So when doing the coolant on a Subaru, I live by these burping funnel. It is just so it's so nice because you can overfill the whole system and have extra fluid on top. And when you do that, you can get all the air bubbles out without sucking anything back in. I think that should be tight. And then it's just a matter of filling her up. Okay.
Continuous recording will now start.
All right, car is on. Shout out Noco, even at 50% battery, she's still boosted, no problem. My head unit just connected to the phone. So main idea, when you're trying to burp the system, what you want to do is you want to get the whole system up to operating temperature. You want to turn your interior fans full blast and then just let it run and idle until the fans kick on. That's your goal, is have it get warm enough that your fans kick on. So just squeezing my upper rad hose, I can already push some bubbles out. I can see them in the funnel. So I'll just let it run for probably 10-15 minutes. You should watch it pretty closely, but yeah, just keep an eye on it, let it run. And then once your everything's up to temperature, what you do is you take off your funnel, put your rad cap on, and then fill up your overflow so that when the system depressurizes, it pulls all the water back into the system. It got dark quick. So now that everything is going good. I think I'm pretty comfortable calling it there. So I'm going to, while it's still running, I'm going to take off the coolant. Hot. All right, so I took the funnel off, closed up the system, filled up the overflow, and now I'm good to turn off the vehicle. And that's it. Oh my God, it got so dark. Just for reference, it is 4:30 and it's very, very dark outside. Well, that's pretty much it. I'm going to take this mixed coolant water mix and put it back into one of the bottles and just leave it in the back seat in case anything happens. Other than that, it looks like the system worked properly. The fan turned on, the whole system was moving water through the heater exchanger, whatever you want to call it, inside. And then, yeah, everything's working good. So that's it. Well, that was putting a new radiator, or putting a radiator in your Subaru and properly bleeding the coolant system. I still need to drive it around, make sure everything's good, but it bled really easily and it sounded like it was going to be good, or looked like it was going to be good. So that's it. Well, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.